What's up, everybody? This is Mr. 100K, a day with another episode here with the 100K Paralegal Services. Today, we're going to be talking about a stupid police officer, a dumb police officer out of the city of St. Louis who has just been arrested and charged with multiple counts involving the harassment, burglary, and the domestic assault of his baby mama. Now, this police officer's name is Terrence Ruffin. He's about 33 years old. And he's been a police officer since approximately 2017. So, this guy should have definitely known better in the way he was treating his baby mama and things that he was doing in the community. Maybe he just couldn't get over the fact that she was dating some other man and she basically moved on. A lot of us can't get over it, but this police officer has and will pay dearly. Now, Terrence Ruffin, according to his Facebook page, he definitely spends a lot of time with his kids. He loves his kids. He loves his daughter. Most of the content that he posts, it's either dealing with being a police officer or it's dealing with him spending time with his daughters. Now, the baby mama that he has caught the charges behind, she's apparently moved on with her life. He can't handle it. And according to the affidavit, the probable cause affidavit that was used to charge him, it became very clear that the man just can't let go. Now, this is what the document says. It says, my investigation revealed that confidential victim and the defendant have a child together. On July 28, 2025, confidential victim had a male overnight guest who parked his vehicle, a 2015 Dodge Charger with the Missouri license plate LF7 L0P outside of a confidential victim's home. A query of the Regional Justice Information System, which is called Regis, showed that the defendant searched the above-mentioned license plate number at 10:21 p.m. Then 3 minutes later, the defendant searched for the name associated with that license plate, Isaiah Stowers, in Regis. The search was conducted at the defendant's place of employment, the St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department. In the report writing room located on the 4th floor, the defendant was not on duty at the time. A search of the internal information systems of St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department revealed that the defendant's proxy card was used to gain access to the 4th floor report writing room at 10:21. The defendant used his St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department-issued username when logging in to conduct these searches. My investigation confirmed the defendant was not conducting any employment-related investigation related to that vehicle or Isaiah Stowers. The following day, the defendant repeatedly contacted confidential victim, requesting to see his child. Confidential victim agreed to the request and arranged the defendant to visit with the child at their usual agreed-upon location in the front room of confidential victim's mother's residence. Her mother resides next door to confidential victim. Rather than remaining at that location with her child, the defendant entered confidential victim's residence, located at 3419 Wadita, without her permission, while she stepped out. Upon returning, confidential victim repeatedly requested the defendant leave, but the defendant refused and said demanded to speak with Stowers. During this time, the defendant was visibly armed with his the St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department-issued firearm, though he did not display or remove it. The defendant told confidential victim and Stowers that he had run Stowers' license plate. Confidential victim was emotionally distressed because of the defendant's behavior. My investigation also revealed that on March 4th, 2025, the defendant had repeatedly called confidential victim demanding to know where she was. When she did not return his calls to provide a location, the defendant located her as she was exiting Whiskey on Washington. The defendant pursued her as she ran from him, eventually making contact. When he reached her, the defendant grabbed her by the back of her pants and swung her back and forth. Witnesses intervened and confidential victim made good her escape to a friend's vehicle. Once the friend dropped confidential at her own vehicle and she began driving, the defendant again appeared and began driving close to her vehicle and repeatedly contacting confidential victim on her phone. Confidential victim was emotionally distressed because of both incidents that occurred that date. Now, That is the affidavit associated with the things that Mr. Ruffin is charged with. Now, this is a police officer who is, who's sworn in to protect and serve the community, acting like this. In fact, this guy locks other people up, puts charges on people as a result of their own conduct who do the exact same behavior. How can we as a community trust police officers when they are engaged in this type of conduct? As I've said 1,000 times, the only way that we can help clean up the police departments and protect the community is make sure these police officers get quarterly mental health exams and take quarterly polygraph tests administered by the FBI. You fail the polygraph test, guess what? You're terminated. That's the only way we clean up the system to make sure that these types of police officers have absolutely no place in law enforcement. That's the truth. Now, Terrence Ruffin is in a lot of trouble because, like I said, he was on duty when he did all these things. Him being charged with first-degree burglary, multiple counts, 3 counts of harassment, felony harassment, that is, and domestic assault and official misuse of official information by a public servant because he used the computer while he was on duty to search for his baby mama's new boyfriend or some other guy or some guy that she's messing with. Now, the guy named Isaiah Stowers, he's a light-skinned guy out of St. Louis, living his best life, doing his thing. But he's only 25 years old. And apparently he's laying up with this guy's baby mama, got this police officer tripping. Now, this is a horrible, horrible situation to be in. Another example why men, really should avoid single moms. You get with a woman and she got kids, this is another reason to avoid this type of women. You don't know what she got going on in the background. You just coming over to spend some time with the woman, getting those guts, and keep it pushing. Little do you know, there's a man waiting outside, stalking where you guys are, stalking your vehicle, stalking you, and at the blink of an eye, he can decide to hurt you, shoot you, take your life, because he really can't get over the fact that his baby mama is messing with somebody else. So, it's kind of interesting. Today, as I do this video, today is December the 8th, 2025. And according to court documents, Mr. Ruffin actually has a court date on December the 9th, 2025, which is tomorrow. But right now, he's being held in jail. He's been arrested for, what he did to his baby mama. He's been arrested and he's being held without bail. His court date for the 9th is for a paternity case in which he filed for custody, joint custody, to fight. I guess he wants rights for his daughter. Now, I don't know exactly if he considers his baby mama to be a threat to the child. I don't know if he thinks that she's like crazy or anything like that. I don't get a chance to see all the documents associated with some of the allegations that are in the petition that he filed for custody, so he can have access to his child. But regardless of whatever it is, he probably won't make it to court tomorrow. He probably won't make a court on the 9th of December 2025 because, like I said, he is being held without bail in St. Louis City Jail. Now, it's all his doing. We all know that, men just got to learn to move on with our lives. He clearly loves his daughter. Most of his content is associated with his daughter. Most of his social media content is associated with him trying to get back in, be in his child's life. Now, his baby mama's name is, Taraja Booker. Nice looking chick, but like I said, when a woman moves on, she moves on. She doesn't want to be bothered. She doesn't want to be associated with you. She wants to move on and do her thing. And she's been fighting back in court. She filed a petition just a few weeks ago, actually in September, asking for emergency temporary custody. She said that he wasn't taking care of the child right. The child has all these conditions, a lot of conditions. Said he kept her out of school. He took the child and kept her. And, all these things that she's been, coming up and making allegations on him with. Now, she said also in one of the court documents, she said she filed a restraining order against him. This is a cop. You have a restraining order against you, can't even possess a firearm. So it's just been a lot of drama. I'm not sure if this whole situation is basically to get leverage on the other parent to try to obtain custody. I'm not sure. She could be making all this up, but apparently she's not. The police conducted their investigation. He had clearly used, because they was able to tell it from electronic records, that he had used his police databases for purposes that he wasn't supposed to be using it for. He did. He definitely did that. The record showed it. But, these incidents, particularly the one that happened in September that got him charged, they decided to arrest him for it literally the day before he went to trial for his child. Trial date is December the 9th. He got arrested December the 8th, held without bail. I don't know how much of the allegations are right. Maybe she was just trying to get, leverage on him in the course of all of this that's been going on. But regardless, it still is an ugly, ugly situation, particularly for, a police officer who's trained to protect and serve the community. One of the things that concerns me is, a lot of the allegations that Taraja Booker, Terrence Ruffin's baby mama, made against him, a lot of these things were alleged to have occurred on the 28th of September 2025. On the 29th of September 2005, she filed what she wrote was a proposed order, and she wrote this by hand, a proposed order for emergency custody with St. Louis County Circuit Court. And in this particular proposed order, she said, "My name is Taraj Booker. I am the mother of Talani Ruffin. I am asking the court for an emergency custody order because I believe my child's safety and well-being are at risk." Now, before I go any further, make sure you guys understand that she went to court and filed this by hand the day after Terrence Ruffin was accused. The cop was accused of coming to her house, confronting her and this new man that she's sleeping with, and of course, apparently taking the child, whatever he did. But she says, "I'm the mother of Talani Ruffin. I asked the court for an emergency custody order because I believe my child's safety and well-being are at risk. An incident happened that resulted in me pressing charges and getting a restraining order against her father. After 2 months, he retaliated by going to her daycare and taking her. This week makes 3 weeks since I've seen or heard from my child. She has missed a doctor's appointment since being with him and is getting ready to miss another. She hasn't been to school in these 3 weeks. They've reached out to me as well as him. They left messages, which were ignored. My child, Talani Ruffin, age 2, has significant sensory sensitivities and documented allergies and a bowel issue. Pineapple, mushrooms, papaya, passion fruit, and loud noises as well as certain fabrics, showers, and dryers. They require careful management to avoid overstimulation and bad reactions. I've been her primary caregiver. I can't pronounce it. It says, I've been her primary caregiver and managed these needs since birth. Since birth alone. Her father, Terrence Ruffin, has not been involved in her daily care. I'm concerned that without this knowledge, he will unintentionally expose her to triggers or allergies that could endanger her health and well-being. I respectfully request the courts grant me temporary sole legal and physical custody." Now, she filed this the day after she alleged that he showed up at her house and did all these crazy things to her and, to the guy she was, sleeping with. The judge denied it. The judge issued an order denying it, saying that, hey, these things need to be addressed in paternity court and have a hearing. You just can't allege these things and I just grant you sole physical, and legal custody based upon that. It just doesn't work like that. Now, this disgraced cop, Terrence Ruffin, has already been ordered to pay $350 a month in child support. So the paternity issues associated with this same child are just, dealing with who's going to have primary, physical and legal custody. They have a temporary order going on now where they basically share and alternate days. They share custody, alternate days, and they both attend hearings. I'm sorry, they both attend medical appointments and everything together. And hopefully it's going a lot better. The judge issued that in October where, they got those things lined up. So the final hearing date is December the 9th, 2025. Terrence Ruffin is in jail right now while the hearing goes. He's probably going to miss it. Maybe he'll be able to get a continuance of the hearing and go to court after he gets out of jail. But right now, he's been held without bail. This is a cop. This is a St. Louis City police officer, one of many locally and across the United States who are consistently charged with crimes and engage in conduct. And believe me, if he's going to just stalk his baby mama like that, just imagine what other type of, conduct he engages in, because he is still a sworn officer. He has testified in hearings. He's sent people to prison. He's gotten, people locked up. He's arrested people. And the courts take his word for things. They have a thing where they have a presumption that these officers are telling the truth. So, I hope some of these people who've been, arrested by him can go back to court and maybe get some of these charges thrown out who were arrested by him, or get some type of love in court. Because you have a officer now who's not even credible. If you're an officer engaged in criminal conduct and arrested and been charged, and you have issues with stalking and harassing your baby mama, Lord knows whatever the crimes you're committing. We just don't know. So we'll see how things turn out, guys. Tell me what you guys think. Should he have just left his baby mama alone, accepted the fact that, she moved on and messing with this new guy, Isaiah? Or was he right for trying to find out who she's messing with and couldn't let go? Sometimes we get sprung, we get stuck. We can't let that baby mama go. We can't, no matter what we have at risk, we just can't accept the fact that she moved on and sleeping with somebody else. Like I said, he's paying $350 a month in child support, which isn't a ridiculous amount. But, the thought of another man laying down with his baby mama, loving her, kissing on her, pulling her hair, biting her lip, doing all those great things that he used to do, probably drove him to the brink where he didn't care about his career. Tell me what you guys think in the comments. This was $100K a day. We'll be following this case to see exactly what transpires, see if he'll be fired, see if he is ultimately convicted on these charges. Till next time, y'all, make sure you guys like this video and subscribe to the channel. Do not watch my videos and enjoy this great content without subscribing to the channel. Till next time, guys. Peace.